Welcome back to the How to Coach Grassroots Football podcast, sponsored by 3Q Sports. I am joined as ever by Jonny.
Hey, Luke.
And James.
Hey, Luke.
We made a couple of changes to the studio this week. Can you notice what they are? And if so, what is your favourite?
I actually really like Old Trafford at night behind me.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah. James,
must bring back some memories, Luke.
Champions League nights at Old Trafford. In the dressing room, cleaning everyone's boots, laying them out, ready for the game. Great times. Fantastic times. So, scores, 2-2. Great episode last time. All square, all to play for. We've got our scoreboard there. Does it say 2-2? I can't see it from
it says 2-2.
Fantastic, ready to go. So, a little reminder of the concept. I've got 4 questions for you guys. It is whoever answers them best, in my humble opinion, will get a point.
Yep.
At the end of the season, whoever's got the most point is a winner.
It's quite simple, yeah.
Whoever's got the least is
Loser.
a loser.
Yeah,
exactly that. So the podcast is all around supporting.
It's all about winning.
No, but what the bigger picture is around supporting grassroots coaches, grassroots parents to help them, for you guys to give a little bit of education on your vast knowledge of this area.
Let's do it.
Okay,
so for it.
How do you want to start? Because I've got an idea, but
So with question number 1.
no,
I think we're
going to start with a coin toss, James.
How can I forget?
Exactly. So let's go. Ready for the coin toss, John? You're going to call this time. I think, James, you did last time.
Yeah.
You said heads never fails.
No, I said tails never fails.
Oh, yeah, that made no sense what I've just said.
But then I said
Change to heads, yeah.
Okay, well, I'm just going to go for tails.
No, I want you to call while it's in the area.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Ready?
Yep. Tails.
We have got a heads.
I've never seen anyone catch a coin on their arm before rather than the hand.
I got it in my hand and slammed it on my...
Yeah, I know, but you slam it on your forearm.
Where would you do it?
On your hand.
Oh, different.
Yeah.
Different horses for different courses. James, you win again with heads again.
Yeah.
It's a law of probability. I see why you went for tails. It just didn't come off. Do you want to go first or second with the first question?
I'm going to go second.
Ooh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm backing myself.
I like that.
Fair play.
I like that. Okay, all ready for the first question? So this week's topic is how do we best involve goalkeepers within our sessions? And the first question is a shooting session in training. It's so easy just to have the goalkeeper there, feeling like a spare part, not feeling involved in the session. So how do we best involve goalkeepers within our training sessions? Okay, here we go then, James. You won the toss, but you passed it over to Jonny.
Correct.
Very sportsmanlike to do that. John, your answer, please.
For me, the best way to involve goalkeepers within your sessions is to give them a little challenge or objective. So, for example, catch the ball and then they've got to put it into a target.
Okay, yeah, very good. James?
To include the goalkeeper, I would make sure that they are just included within the session. And if appropriate, I would then put something in where they can use their hands rather than use their feet.
Good answer. And you get a point.
Oh, great.
Point.
3-2.
3-2. Oh, it's been a classic so far. I'm only just into the second episode. You couldn't dream it up, could you? So tell us a little. I really like that answer in terms of different ways of getting them involved. Can you just sort of expand on that a little bit?
So obviously it's different for different sessions that you'd run. As an example, if you're running a ball mastery session, every kid's got a ball each, they're dribbling through gates. You might do it where the goalkeeper's got a ball, but they're bouncing the ball, sidestepping through the gates. So they're still included within the session, but they've got a goalkeeper-specific task. It's possible that you could actually give them a ball mastery task just the same as the other kids. Modern-day goalkeepers need to be able to use their feet just as well as outfield players. So I think there's an opportunity to just include them. What you don't want to do, what you absolutely don't want to do, is send the goalkeeper off with a parent or coach over the far side and have someone ping balls at them, because that's where you're excluding the goalkeeper from the rest of the group.
Fantastic. And I think with that, it's how do we, the specific goalkeeper coach in grassroots football, and you sort of look over to that sometimes and you sort of feel, well, is there that much benefit coming from that, working just with one other coach when they could be in the session getting much bigger outcomes, particularly social, psychological and that sort of thing? What are your thoughts on that goalkeeper coach? It's usually someone's dad, maybe even the goalkeeper's dad, and they're just constantly kicking balls at the goalkeeper.
There's definitely a time and a place for goalkeepers to practice their technique, their handling skills and all those kind of things. As a goalkeeper, I can imagine that happens quite a lot in the back garden. You know, dad mum kicks a ball at them in the back garden, they're in goal and they get to practice their handling there. I think that a lot of goalkeeping is about times where you're not saving a shot. It's not all about saving shots. You spend the majority of the game watching the play, moving into position, keeping your position right, being ready in case the opposition attack. So to be involved actively within the session, one of the greatest ways is to put more goals within the session. And even if you had 2 keepers, put 2 goals within the session so that the goalkeeper just does what they would do in a game. Because there's a lot of practice that can be included that's not necessarily saving shots all the time.
Oh, fantastic. Brilliant answer. Got the point. But John, really interested to hear a little bit more about the individual challenges within that.
I think what James said is great. I think where my thought process went is that it's a shooting drill, and rather than the kid stood in goal getting peppered shot after shot after shot and they're just trying to save it, it's like you say, there's much more to being a goalkeeper than just that. So by having a normal shooting drill, whatever it may be, the goalkeeper then has an objective, or they can get extra points. So for example, if they parry the ball and it goes past 2 cones either side of the goal, they might then get 2 points and they're trying to score as many points as they can. If they then catch it, they get 3. And if they can then do a sidewinder into a little mini goal that's set up 20 yards away, they can then get 10. And it's like building other objectives rather than just save it. Because I've seen sessions and I've delivered sessions myself where the goalkeeper's job is to save the ball. And ultimately, the kids run up, they take a shot, they make a save, they jump up, they're ready to save the next one. And actually, they've parried the ball 2 feet in front of them and they think they've done a good job. But in a real game, that would result in a goal. So that's what I try and do within my sessions when I have goalies, when I don't involve them in the whole group. But I think what JC said is worthy of a point, to be fair.
Definitely. But with that, like just going back to that specific shooting session, and we've seen it, the one the kids are just levering the ball at the goalkeeper. Like, should that happen? Like one goalkeeper in goal, the ball just constantly, are they really, obviously they're repetitive trying to save it, but are they really honing in on their technique? Are they getting much out of that in terms of their development as a goalkeeper?
I think that's a session that's more like leaned towards and weighted towards the strikers and the kids actually taking the shot. I think they'll get more of a benefit out of that, whereby they're practicing, they're finishing. The goalkeeper himself, it's so unrealistic, isn't it, that ultimately you're just getting peppered. And often it's unfair because you're on the floor and then the next shot's coming in and you've barely had a chance to stand up again. So I always try and avoid stuff like that. I would try and get the goalkeeper involved in the overall session as much as possible and build in goals within that, and make it directional and add goalkeepers and goals into that, rather than just having a long line and kids running up and shooting and peppering the poor little kid in goal.
And with that, James, like, would you, like, when you're planning a session, like, just some advice for people that might be listening or watching this, like, would that form part of that, of the outcomes of the goalkeeper, or is it too easy just as the goalkeeper they'll just save the ball if it comes to them? Is it something that you'd put sort of time and effort in to make sure that there's outcomes for them?
I think it's just a consideration. So when you plan your session, can you find a role for the goalkeeper that's appropriate to a skill or technique that they may use within the game? So that could be as simple as put a goal into the session. It could be for them to do the same task as the outfield players, or it could be a different, separate task. The main thing is that they feel included. So the goalkeeper is a specialist position. There's one of them typically in a team, and it's making sure that from a psychological side, from a confidence point of view, they don't feel like they're excluded from the session.
Fantastic. Ready for the second question?
Let's
James,
do
you got a
3-2
lead. How do you feel about that, John?
Feel fine.
Oh, good. Let's put my mind at rest anyway. Okay, guys, question 2. How would you creatively involve your goalkeepers within the warm-up before a game? James, do you want to start this time?
Yeah, I would involve them as an outfield player. I sort of touched on in the last question that modern goalkeepers need to be able to use their feet. I think they'll have an opportunity to practice goalkeeper techniques, whether it be for older children, kind of long goal kicks or handling techniques. But there's no reason why they can't just be actively involved using their feet as an outfield player would, and just get warm and ready to play.
Okay, Jonny?
I'm going to steal James's answer from a previous episode and talk about basically the best way to warm up is by playing matches, as we discussed last week. So I would play a match with goals and have the goals, the goalies part of that.
You know how much I love matches. It is my...
It's his guilty pleasure. It's Achilles heel.
Every question from
if you answer that way, you're always going to get it.
Match.
So, you ain't going to believe this. 3-3.
Get in.
Very good, John. So, talk a little bit more about that, though, because just a question to throw at you as well. Like, who's the other goalkeeper within it?
So you don't have to have another goalkeeper. You might, and you might have 2 goals. You could have the other team are trying to stop the ball on the line.
Do you know what I'd do? I'd stick a goal in the middle of the pitch, and the goalie has to...
Too late. I've already scored the point.
So goalie has
There's
to
extra points on offer.
From this side. Yeah, there are. Defend the goal from this side, and then when the ball crosses the halfway line, they have to spin around. Nice. There you go, 1 goalie.
Creative. That's what
you asked for.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too late.
No, it is too late. Carry on.
So just you could have 1 goalkeeper in that session. Just have a different outcome. They could stop it on the line, knock off a ball off a cone, whatever it may be.
And with that, would you within that game?
Yep.
Would that be sort of more players on one? Because I'm just thinking like a normal game, the goalkeeper might not have that much to do in terms of it being a warm up where the rest of the players are running about within their positions. Would it be weighted to the fact that the attacking team are going to get lots of outcomes to give the goalkeeper an opportunity?
I think it is important for goalkeepers to essentially warm up and to save a few shots. And as much as getting them involved in the outfield practice is important, especially in modern day and the fact that they use their feet loads. But I do think it is important that they're facing some form of shot. So that's a great way of doing it, Luke, in that creating an overload and an underload. So the goalkeeper's got more action and more saves to make. But I think it is important in finding a way where they can use their hands in the warm-up, they can have practice. I think that will set them up for success when it comes to the game. So your idea is a good one, mate.
Thank you very much. Thank you. James, can you tell us a little bit more? Because obviously we've used that before. It's a really good answer, playing a game, but yours may have been a little bit more creative, but I made a decision on getting a point. But tell us a little bit more.
Goalkeepers are required to use their feet more and more as the game develops and progresses. You know, back in the day, that wasn't really the case. The goalkeeper never really received the ball from an outfield player. It was always the other way around, and quite often booming it down the pitch rather than rolling out, or the short goal kicks that we now see even in senior football. So there is a requirement to upskill and get better and improve the techniques of just general ball mastery skills and receiving the ball and passing the ball. So goalkeepers can get involved in that. Also, every young goalkeeper, I can imagine that when they play football in the school playground, that they probably play outfield sometimes. They don't always go in goal.
Well, that's what I was going to say is, like, to your point, ultimately you probably won't have a goalkeeper at under 7s and under 8s and under 9s, will you? And ultimately you'll rotate and they'll all have a go in goal. So therefore just doing a normal warm-up with everyone rather than making a big thing of it, the goalie going off to one side. Yeah. So I think, just getting the kids playing. To
your point, though, I think it is really important that goalies kind of warm up their hands, if that makes sense.
If they are going to go.
If you go into the match, let's say it's an under 10s fixture, you go into the match and you haven't really done any ball handling, I think that's going to potentially
make it harder.
Make it tougher. So,
and would that potentially, like the ball handling, could that be incorporated as part of that whole group warm up, or that would be more one-to-one or specific warm up with a goalkeeper?
I think you can do both, as long as you're not just sending off a parent to go and kick a ball at a goalkeeper whilst everyone else warms up separately. You could have a little bit of that, but there's no reason why you can't include them within the session, I think.
Brilliant, Aunt. I mean, what a way to bring the first half to an end. You two, we just can't separate.
Neck and neck.
No.
Cannot separate.
It's close.
Let's see what happens in the second half. A massive halftime shout out to our podcast sponsors, 3Q Sports. And a reminder for anyone that didn't see it, we are giving out a prize from 3Q Sports of £500 worth of football kit and equipment. Click on the link in the description to find out how you have got a chance of winning. Time for Chaddy's Football Fun Fact. And as we're on a goalkeeper theme this week, I'm talking about a very special goalkeeper by the name of Fabio. He's from Brazil and still plays to this day for Fluminense. So his first appearance in 1997. He has made more appearances in professional football than anyone else. So the question that I've got for the guys and for anyone watching at home is, how many appearances has he made? Okay, guys, a bit of a tough one this week, to be fair, but the guess is out. I'm going to give you, again, I'll give you one guess now. one guess at the end before I reveal the answer. Is that okay with you?
Yep.
Fantastic. Jonny, how many? It's going to be a lot, isn't it?
I can't think. I'm trying to do the sums in my head. I'm just going to go...
Since 1997. So how many years is it?
I'm just going to go for 1,200.
1,200?
That's a lot. That's really influenced me now.
Don't let it.
I was going to go 700 and something.
The most ever?
Yeah. I think it's
Giggsy
a lot
played more than that.
Okay. Well, I'm not
Dean
gonna then.
Lewington at MK Dons played 900 games.
Okay.
You can't...
You're really helping me.
No, I'm just frustrated.
Yeah.
Sounds it.
1,150.
1,150. Good guesses.
Thanks.
I'm going to let you know the answer a little bit later.
Well, I know now.
No, sorry. I'm going to give you
Tell
another
us
guess
now.
as well.
Okay.
You ready for the second half?
Yep.
Second half.
Let's go. Kicking off the second half, and question number 3. We spoke about training. Now we're on to matches. How would you best involve your goalkeeper within your team talk? Jonny, what are your thoughts?
I think it's really simple. I think I'd just give goalkeeper specific advice and support during my team talks.
Simple. James?
I think it's really important to make sure you never talk about a 3-2-3 formation, because it should be a 1-3-2-3 formation. By starting every formation with a 1 at the start, it shows that you care about the goalkeeper and you're including them within the team.
You know what? I wasn't expecting that answer in terms of when you spoke about formations there, but I really like it. So you are 4-3 up.
Nice.
Has it changed?
No, you change it, remember, with your mind.
Yeah.
No, yeah, I'm just making sure my mind's working
Yeah,
correctly.
your mind's
and it has
working
changed.
brilliant.
No, thank you very much. Thank you. James, talk to me about that a little bit more. Talk to us about that a little bit more.
It's actually really exclusive, isn't it, to talk about the formation as a 4-4-2 and not mention the goalkeeper. Why not? Why is it not a 1-4-4-2? Of course, it's never going to be a 2. You're never going to put 2 people in goal. That'd be crazy. But
Against the rules.
It's really important. It is against the rules.
Is it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, it's really important to recognise the role of the goalkeeper, and you sort of ignore them if you talk about it in that way. One little tip that I have is when you're setting up your formation, you're talking about that with children, using water bottles or cones as a visual representation on the side of the pitch is a really good way of doing that. And quite often, if people do that, they might set out some cones and they set out the formation, say 3-3-2 or whatever it might be. And in doing that, they then forget to put the ones the goalkeeper, because as they move those cones around, they might show, when we've got the ball, the wingers go wide. But it's, what's the goalkeeper doing? What's their role? And to your point, Jonny, it's almost then giving that specific feedback, right? So that we're not talking about today we're going to try and pass the ball, move it quick, do this, do that. But actually, you as the goalkeeper, when we do that, you need to make sure that you're mirroring the ball on the play and making sure that they've got a role to play and feel included. Is, for me, that's the most important thing.
It sounds like you, like in your experience, a lot of the time you feel like the goalkeepers aren't recognised or included enough. Would that be right?
In the last question about warm-ups, I think there's a chance that, I've seen it. In grassroots football, the goalkeeper gets sent off with a parent and they boot a load of balls at them whilst everyone else warms up. When we talk about the formation, if we don't talk about the goalkeeper, we're not including them. It's a specialist position, and there's a real chance that the goalkeeper feels excluded or different from the rest of the children. So it's just finding little ways to make them feel included.
And John, you were talking about sort of specific sort of information for the goalkeeper.
Yep.
Do you think there's a case of that might not happen as much because it is a specialised position and people may not have the knowledge or feel comfortable giving that out if they're not?
I think that's definitely a reason why people probably don't. I think that the biggest reason, if I'm being honest, is that probably isn't considered something that people feel like they can impact or make a difference on. Whereas like when they're talking about the team or talking about the way they want to play or the style of play or their tactics, then people just go to that and try and solve the problem or give information around that. But I always try and stick to the rule of 3 whenever I deliver a team talk. So 3 points max. And you can do that in lots of different ways. It might be that you're talking about in possession, out of possession, and in transition. It could be that you're talking about the different units on a pitch. And to James's point, if you're talking about the different units on a pitch, you're then talking about the defensive unit and including the goalkeeper. So I think the reason that it's the overall team talk is aimed at the team is probably, as you say, a lack of knowledge, lack of understanding. But I think hopefully with that rule of 3 and that awareness, then you can start to involve the goalkeepers a bit more in that.
And potentially a half time, and the goalkeeper's not had a huge amount to do. Is there a way of involving? Because obviously he's in the prime position on the pitch, can see everything that's going on. Would that be a way of including a goalkeeper by getting their thoughts, what they're seeing in front of them within the game that's going on?
It's a really good way to say, what can you see as the goalkeeper? You're sat behind the play. What does it look like for you? I think that's a good way. Sometimes just reminding them of their role. You know, whilst we're in possession, whilst we've got the ball, you know, if you're 3-0 up, making sure that you're giving some sort of comment to the goalkeeper, almost like, I think a lot of coaches, they end up going, oh, we're 3-0 up. Goalie doesn't need any information. We're going to win the game. It's all pretty comfortable. Let's just go and score more goals and forget about the goalie. Whereas it's almost like the really important thing for you today, Luke, as the goalkeeper, you need to maintain that concentration because you want to get a clean sheet today, right? So, yes, we're 3-0 up. Yeah, we look like we're going to win the game, but make sure you're getting your position right. Make sure you keep talking to your defenders and all those things, because that's part of goalkeeping too. When they get through to the senior adult football, there'll be games where they don't have an awful lot to do, and maintaining concentration is a real skill that they need to develop. So it's encouraging those things in different scenarios as a goalkeeper.
And I suppose with that law of 3 that you spoke about, yep, whatever that may be, there's always a way, like in possession, the goalkeeper's, there's stuff that he can be doing out of possession in the transition, and there's always something to link back there. And I think that's when we talk about, you want everyone to feel included, and that is probably the one position where maybe you don't always feel included.
You can find a way to introduce it into anything. So like when you're talking about, say you're focusing on the strikers and their finishing, you can say, right, we need to work on our finishing, ask the goalie what's hard to save, and involve them in different ways. So I think it's just trying to be aware of them once again, of the fact that they're in the session, they're involved, and then trying to find ways to lead them into your team talks and everything you do.
Fantastic, brilliant stuff, guys. James, you're taking a narrow lead into the last question. I'm excited by it. Can't wait for it. Okay, guys, final question. Question 4, and again, all about the game in the match. And it's around, you're winning a game 4-0 up. The goalkeeper hasn't had a lot to do, doesn't look like they're going to have much to do. How do you keep them involved, keep them engaged throughout that game? James, you've got a 1-point lead and you've got to go first. This is massive. This is a massive
It feels big.
Yeah.
I would make sure that the goalkeeper receives as much communication and feedback as the rest of the team.
Yeah, brilliant. John?
I would get the goalkeeper out on pitch.
Oh!
He always does
this. I was
this.
not expecting that.
He always pulls something from somewhere. The point is going, and he's done it again. This guy.
Comeback king.
4-4. Who'd have thought it?
Yeah.
This is epic.
Close.
This scoring has been incredible. There you go, Jonny. Point for you.
Thanks, mate.
Talk, because this is out of nowhere. Put him on pitch. Tell me all about it.
I think when you're working with those youngest age groups, you shouldn't have a goalkeeper. Anyway, I think as much as you might have someone that likes going in goal or maybe are better than the rest of the team, like 7, 8, 9 years old, you shouldn't really have goalies in my opinion. So I think you should rotate them around anyway. But if you have got someone that really enjoys playing in goal, is your goalkeeper within those youngest age groups, you are 4, 5-0 up, they've not got loads of stuff to do in the game because it's all down the other end, then use it as an opportunity to get them out on pitch.
Is there a limit age group wise in which you would do that? So if you were playing under 12s and you're 4-0 up, would you bring the goalie out and swap them over with someone else?
Yeah, I think I would. For me, obviously, what it comes down to is the children and what they want to do and who you're working with and getting to know the personnel on the pitch. But I don't really think it's necessarily exclusive to an age. Maybe as you then get into 15s and 16s and ultimately that is your goalkeeper. They've trained in it for years. That's what they want to be when they're older and that's what they're working towards. But definitely within the foundation age group, I'd mix it up.
Have you done that before?
Yeah, loads. We've even played them out on pitch from the start of a game, in like academy football in particular, when we're trying to work on different skills and different tricks. And there's one little goalkeeper, Ibby, that we used to work on his feet a lot, so used to play him out on pitch because he was brilliant at shot stopping and all the goalkeeper stuff. So we tried to then put him in that environment as much as possible. And we would, in academy football, depending on like who you're playing against, you could work out, and we used to like colour grade the game. So if you knew it was going to be a really tough game because maybe you're playing up an age group, you'd mark it as a red. And if you had a green one where it might be slightly easier, then they're the games that you might then put the goalie out on pitch to give them an opportunity to work on those skills.
And when you've done that, has there been any sort of pushback or any disappointment? Like you said, there's goalkeepers that just love playing in goal. Maybe they've not had much to do, but they still want to be the goalkeeper. Has there been any challenges with doing that?
I think because it's quite rare for goalkeepers to have that opportunity. You know, when there's a corner in the last minute, the goalkeeper's always desperate to run up and score that goal and be involved on the outfield sort of element. So, to be honest, from my experiences, they've absolutely jumped at the chance and won that opportunity.
He's pulled it from nowhere again. I thought you were an absolute banker doing that. But then here he goes, take him out.
Well done, John.
Talk a little bit more about the specific information that you were talking about.
Again, it comes back to not ignoring the goalkeeper.
Yeah.
Goalkeepers can feel ignored. They can feel, especially when everything's going well, all the focus and attention is on you as a goalie when things are not going well, when shots are raining down on you or you're conceding goals as a team. When you're winning, sometimes it's easy to forget them. I think there's examples and scenarios where there's huge lessons to be learnt from the ball being at the other end of the pitch. And concentration being one, position being another, being ready, communication being another. So to guide the back three, back four, whatever it might be, to communicate and tell them where to be, what to do, because you can see the play. So it's making sure that the goalkeeper gets the attention they require, irrespective of whether they're heavily involved with the game or whether they're a bit of a spectator.
Yeah, I think like listening to you guys this episode, the key takeaway is around not letting them feel left out, keep them engaged, having them as always feeling part of the team.
Yeah, one thing that I didn't say earlier on, but you said, Luke, and it sort of really resonated with me, was it's bonkers when you think that a child, if they are a goalkeeper, go to training and then they're sent off by themselves. Like, they can do that in the garden, as you said earlier on in the episode. Like, ultimately, if they're there at training with other children, that's the opportunity to get them involved with the other children for the social aspect, for the psychological aspect. So I think, being aware and making sure that they're involved as much as possible.
Brilliant stuff, guys. So, scores 4-4. How are you feeling? You happy to be drawing? Do you feel you should be ahead?
It's a long way to go, Chaddy. I just want to know the fun fact answer.
Oh, well, I did say that I'd give you another opportunity, didn't I? I forgot about that a little bit. So, go on then.
I think we have to go wildly different to what we had before because we've both gone in the same ballpark.
You just copied me.
Helped by the fact that Chaddy pushed my number up.
I'm going 1,600.
Thinking of the maths of it, just quickly, if I'm allowed to talk it through. Just really, really quickly. 2007, did you say?
No,
1997.
1997.
50 games a season.
48 years. 6,000 games.
So it's like 18 years.
Okay, I'm going to stop you.
It'd only be 1,000 games, I think.
Okay, guys, you ready? It is big. The amount of appearances that he made were an incredible... We're still playing, so we're still building on it. 1,395 appearances.
Winner?
Wow.
Jonny, a little bit closer, but really good guesses. Really good guesses. Well done.
Thanks.
Great episode this week, talking about sort of involving goalkeepers. I think there was real top tips that you've put out there that can really support grassroots coaches. Next week, we'll be chatting about shy and anxious children, how we best involve them within the sessions. But until then, so goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Goodbye from me.
Thank you so much for being part of our podcast this week.